I am Alex from Voyager, and you are listening to the Mixtape.
Hello and welcome to the Mixtape podcast, where every week I take a deep dive into my guests' musical influences and inspirations by asking them to make up an imaginary mixtape. They'll have 6 track choices and they'll have to pick from categories including their favourite cover version, a song they wish they could play to their 18-year-old selves, a song for a romantic interest, and a song they sing in the car or the shower. If you're enjoying these episodes, then please feel free to go to the top of the page, rate the podcast 5 stars, or give us a follow on social media at the Mixtape Podcast, a radio show. And you can discover over 100 archive episodes just by visiting themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoy this week's episode. Hello and welcome to this mixtape. I am your host, Mark, and joining me today on the show, it's an absolute pleasure to welcome Alex from Voyager. How are you, mate?
Hello, I'm fantastic. Very pleased to be here with you, Mark. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on the show. Really appreciate your time. So, first of all, Seen Better Days, new single out now, wherever you stream your music. And I think from your Bandcamp as well, you can download it. Tell us a little bit about the new single and how does it feel to have new music out there again?
It was fantastic to have new music out and to have something to be excited about showing people. I think a lot of people will realize after getting a minute or two into the song, it was actually quite a sad song for Voyager, or at least something a little bit darker than what they're used to hearing from us. The song lyrically typically deals with I think I don't know if it deals with, but it's lyrically themed around cancer, which our singer Danny is currently sadly undergoing treatment for, and has been for the last year and a half, maybe a little bit longer. So it's a song that mirrors that feeling and that aura to some extent, and in a way that Voyager kind of does it. It is maybe not one of our most catchy, banging, head-bopping tunes, but it's definitely a song that has weight to it and heaviness that is demonstrated not so much in terms of distorted guitars and the like, but mainly just backstory and lyrical content.
Yeah. How's Danny doing, mate? Is he?
Yeah, it's shocking how amazing he has taken all of this in his stride, and it's actually on a personal level very inspirational. But I don't want to say I didn't think he had it in him. That's not to say that I didn't have confidence, but I just think that something that heavy has the ability to topple the strongest of characters, and Danny's character is obviously one of the strongest I've ever seen. So we're all really, really proud of him, and he lets us joke about it. It makes him feel better. So we can have a nice kind of typical Australian approach to his being in the doldrums a little bit by giving him a bit of shit as well as a lot of encouragement.
No, I think the dark sort of sense of humour, the gallows sort of humour, if you like that. I'm a big I wouldn't say fan of it, but 100% recognise the therapeutic benefits of that. Do you know what I mean? And that way of looking at it, I think it's a fantastic way to be, if you can be like that. I remember my dad sadly passed away from cancer a few years ago, pancreatic cancer he had. And I remember video calling him the night before he died and telling him a funny story and making him laugh. And this is one of the biggest buzzes I ever got with him, was just like telling him that story and making him laugh and seeing him laugh in that situation, which obviously was really close to the end. And I think that sort of humour can really get you through some tough times for sure. And it's a fantastic outlook, I think, to have. So you've got 2 Perth shows coming up, by day at the Rosemount and by night at Magnet House. Is that just in terms of, obviously the Rosemount show is a matinee show, and the Magnet House is an evening show, and it's an all-day show. But will they be different in terms of like set list, or is it just the timing that sort of lent itself to that way of promoting the gigs?
It will be different. They will differ. Yeah. So the Rosemount show is possibly the very first family-friendly Voyager show. It started off being a bid to give underage people a bit of a chance at seeing Voyager. All of us in the band, we experienced the all ages gig scene when we were teenagers, and it was a huge part of our upbringing. We would go and watch a lot of metal bands, and that kind of really cemented our love for heavy music, being able to go see it on the weekend with our mates. And I don't know, I'm not aware that kind of still happens, at least not with many of the bigger bands in Perth. We wanted to do something like that. And then like a lot of us have kids or smaller kids, and our friend groups all have kids, I guess, are at that age. And it just turned into let's just do a family-friendly show that kids can come to as well. So it won't be too intense. It won't be as long as the overage show. The overage show swiftly turned into one of our biggest things ever. But it's going to be nice. Think of any matinee show that you would go to with the family, and that's what we're going for.
I've had the conversation with my partner as well quite a lot. Like, so we appreciate at my age, we appreciate a matinee show as well. Do you know what I mean? I know it's intended for all ages and that sort of thing, but like you can't beat going to a gig and getting home at 8 o'clock at night.
That's the gauge of knowing when you're getting on, like the gauge for knowing that you're becoming an old bastard, because you're just why do we need to start a gig at 10:30 at night? Even you'll be glad to know, and hopefully your listeners will be glad to know as well. The show at Magna House is also an earlier start. We've got one support, and we'll be starting a lot earlier. I think we'll be wrapped up by 11. Oh, I think 10:30, 11, something like that. So
fantastic.
We're all like, this is brilliant. You know what? It may not even be an age thing. It's just kind of like, why do we need to? Do we need an hour of like house music in between acts, or do we need a 1,000 opening bands? Everyone's got babysitters.
Exactly right, mate. Exactly right. And just on the Perth sort of scene and the Perth music venues, when I get Perth bands on, I'm conducting a little bit of market research in terms of venues and stuff. As a gig goer, what's your favourite Perth venue? And as a performer, what's your favourite Perth venue if they're different?
Yeah, sure. Magna House is always pretty good in terms of both. And it just seems to be a venue that I've played so many times over the 20 years that I've been gigging. When I was playing there, it was like the Monkey Bar. No, it was Club Capital, and then the Monkey Bar, and then I think it turned into Magna House. I've seen many gigs there as well, and it's always been really good. Geez, I saw Kraftwerk at, I think it was the Riverside Theatre, or the one in the convention center. I can't remember what it was called.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was really cool. And but as a performer, I feel like it's a bit easier to be satisfied, because I can't really, I'm getting what's fed into my in-ear monitors, which is a lot of me and a click track and some backing stuff. And the stages are normally, we've played everything. It's funny to say this because this is a real spectrum that I can lean on. I've literally played to not being able to move to the Eurovision stage. And so being able to adapt to the size of it isn't really a big thing. But I do find myself becoming a cantankerous old man when my view of an act is crap and I've paid to be there. I think it's about we can get a good spot that's in the middle. If I'm going to the movies, I want to be in the middle, in the center. So I'm not too close to I'm looking up like that, my neck's sore, and I've got the best auditory experience.
I like Red Hill. That's my favourite Perth venue. I love it out there. It's so good. There's not a bad seat in the house. It's the way it's laid out. It's fantastic. Yeah, unless it rains. It's just amazing.
I think I've been there. I think I've been there once. Yeah, I think I saw the XX and like Cat Power or something like that. That was pretty magical, wasn't it? Yeah. It's the closest thing we've got to is at Red Rocks. Is that even like on the green? And Kings Park is pretty amazing.
Do you know what? As a punter though, the only thing I don't like about Kings Park is getting in and out. That's the thing for me. You're carrying your picnic inevitably, and your picnic chairs and all that. That can be a pain in the arse to get in and out.
Yeah, exactly. There's only one road that leads out, and they close a lot of it. I went to Tom Jones with my grandparents, who are in their mid to late 80s, and it was a bit of a nightmare for them, to be honest. Like even just getting from the main road and walking down, it's an insignificant walk for someone with not great walking ability.
Mate, so just moving on to Voyager a little bit, like the music and stuff, like one of the questions that sort of first occurred to me when I knew I was going to interview was like Voyager's music to me, it's always quite like big and cinematic and huge, and I could always imagine it soundtracking like a movie. Is that ever something that you've considered, and if so, what sort of movie could you see Voyager's music soundtracking?
Yeah, I agree. I've always wanted that to be a thing. Like, I'm trying to think, I wonder if we've been a part of any smaller films, but I see Voyager being quite adaptable to many of the shows. I think anything with action and violence in it, you'd probably get away with a little bit. But I think Voyager, we can be perceived as being quite heavy and hard to people that aren't hardcore metalheads. Yeah. And to metalheads, we can be maybe a little bit of a guilty pleasure because we aren't the heaviest. Yeah. So I think we would fit right in that perfect commercial niche where something needs to be sounding like it's heavy and intricate and polished. John Wick would be cool. John Wick or, God, look, anything.
I always thought like Blade Runner or something like that would be a good fit. Yeah, for sure. Like that was the one that occurred to me when I was thinking of that question. All right, a quick couple of questions about Eurovision, Alex, if you don't mind. First of all, like, how did that come about? Like, obviously you went through the rounds and stuff, but as a band, was that something, I know you were in the year before, maybe in the year before that, was that sort of direction that the band wanted to go, or was it just something that sort of someone suggested and you thought, oh yeah, okay, let's do it? How did that come about?
Yeah, for the longest time before we even started advocating to do it, which was 2015, people were saying, you guys got to be in Voyager. You'd be so good at Voyager. Sorry, not Voyager, Eurovision. You'd be so good at Eurovision. And we're like, yeah, cool. Sign us up. It's funny. I've read, like, the internet's so wonderful, and I just love reading stuff, especially criticisms about us, and in particular, like Eurovision fan base. And people are like, why is this it? Why would they do Eurovision? Why would they ever say yes to this? Why would they do this? It's like, when was the last time you turned down the biggest opportunity of your career? Like, why would anyone not do it if you were able to? Really, it was a lot of hard work on the part of our manager, Lulu Davis. She just kept emailing them, and then you basically advocate for your band to get on Eurovision, and then you get funneled down. Everything just trickles down, and then you just start from the bottom and go all the way up. So we eventually developed a relationship with Blink TV and SBS, the people there that produce Australia Decides Eurovision. It was a slow build. Like 2021, our song Runaway, I think there was a top 10 and ours was like 11. So we just missed out. Then the next year we wrote a new song called Dreamer, and then that got in and we did really well with that contest. We won the public vote in 2022 for Australia Decides, but we came third in the judges. So the way that the criteria worked, we went from top spot in a competition called Australia Decides Eurovision. Australia decided on Voyager, right? But we didn't win. So then we got bumped down to second. So we came runner-up. And Sheldon Riley got bumped up because he had a high public score, but also had a high judge score. So he just tipped it above us. So he went to Eurovision at 2022, and we were like, well, that was so good. And we're the underdogs. We came away from it, everyone feeling and saying that we got robbed, which was great. We're a small town, we're a metal band from Perth. That thing being robbed, like every band could relate to that. And then we just got internally selected for Eurovision proper the year after. We found out in late December 2022 that we were being selected to represent Australia. So, yeah, a lot of work behind the scenes, a lot of networking, and proving that we were the band that could be relied upon to take this opportunity, because it's no small thing. And the executive producers and all the powers that be want known quantities. They don't want some person that's going to flip out at the last minute. It kind of happened with that. Pair that with the authentic love for the Eurovision Song Contest, especially by our singer Danny and our drummer Ash, they were able to field a lot of the questions that the rest of us knew nothing about being exposed to Eurovision.
For me, obviously, I'm not a Perth native, Alex. You can probably tell I grew up in the UK.
Really?
And
you sound
yeah. The Eurovision was a big annual event. It still is in the UK, and historically, some of the biggest sort of pop acts certainly in the 80s were Eurovision acts, and it was a real sort of event for us. But it became, I don't know if you're aware of this, but within Europe, it's not a song contest. The best song don't win. Do you know what I mean? I think the sort of the introduction of Australian acts, because it's very much how can I put it? There is a term for it. It's the way the voting works is all the mates all vote for each other. It ain't about the song. Like Sweden vote for Denmark, Denmark vote for Sweden, they both vote for Finland or whatever. Like it is, and the UK has historically not been that popular in Europe. Do you know what I mean? So we're putting absolute bangers out there. We're getting nowhere. Do you know what I mean? Because no one likes us, so we're never getting the points. And I do genuinely believe that introducing Australian acts into Eurovision was a bit of an attempt to disrupt that kind of friendly voting sort of thing. Like Cyprus vote for Malta, vote for Cyprus. Do you know what I mean? Like it's always like the little neighbouring countries all look after each other. Do you know what I mean? And
it's very political, and there's a lot of favourites.
Yeah, absolutely. And what I used to like about it was, I'm not sure if you're familiar with Terry Wogan. He's a UK DJ and TV presenter in the 70s and 80s, and he used to present it for the longest time, and he just used to take the piss, basically. Do you know what I mean? When he used to commentate on the event, and he'd be like, "Oh yeah, see, Sweden got 10 points from Denmark. Surprise, surprise." Yeah. You know what I mean? It just went in with that mentality, and it was worth watching just for him. Do you know what I mean? Like it was amazing. Yeah. But what an experience that must have been. And did your existing fan base take to it okay, or was it like how did they feel about it?
Yeah, they were ecstatic that that little band. I think you're a band pre-Eurovision, and then Eurovision happens, and you're a different type of band after that in terms of your popularity. Our fan base is great because they're so varied. But the one thing that they all agree on is that they want us to be as big as possible. And from all accounts, everyone's like, "Why aren't Voyager bigger? This is great, but why is it taking this long? And why aren't they doing bigger things still after all of that?" So our fan base is awesome, and they're 100% supportive. And if anyone was like, "This isn't a Eurovision band," I remember reading that when we'd been selected, and it's kind of objectively, we are a Eurovision band. It would be different if we had pandered to whatever in order to fit in. But the fact that we wrote the song together, we spent ages arranging it and worked really hard on it. And you've got to be happy with that.
You're listening to The Mixtape.
The Mixtape is brought to you in association with Giglist. Giglist is your one-stop shop for all your live events. If you're looking to get out and experience some live music, you can filter by artist, venue, suburb or date. If you are an artist, it will take you less than a minute to list your gig for free on the website. The Mixtape brought to you in association with Giglist. Gigs in a list. Let's drop into the mixtape portion of the chat, mate. So track one of your mixtape, Alex, what is your lead-off track, your attention grabber?
Yeah, Toy Matinee with a song called Last Plane Out. A random musical project that I only just happened across maybe 3 or 4 months ago. But it happens to be the art rock project by the songwriter that wrote a lot of Madonna's songs in the 80s.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and it's got Guy Pratt on bass, which you won't know from Ice House and Pink Floyd. So he's a big musical influence, some bass influence for me. Yeah, just happened across this, and it's such a cool album, and really, I don't know, it reminds me of how awesome music used to be.
Great choice to kick it off with, mate. Track two, what is a song that you sing when you're on your own, loud and proud in the car or the shower?
Yeah. It's look, in the last few days, it's been Moana and something from Frozen, but that's thanks to my son, who's just wants to hear this nonstop. So now it's memorized. Yeah, I don't know how proudly I sing it, but definitely. That's Vola with Napalm. And I like both versions. On their Witness album, there is an acoustic version as well, which I also love almost as much as the original. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about Vola.
Vola are a band from Denmark, comprising of 4 stellar gentlemen. They play what you would describe as probably pop gent, I guess, really heavy stuff, weird lyrics, weird vocals. The singer has more of a baritone register. We did a tour with them for this album, Witness, in 2019, I think. Somewhere, maybe later, 2021. I can't quite remember. Yeah, I think it was maybe 2021. We did a European tour with them, and it was the best tour that Voyager's ever been on, and we became really close with the guys. But it's a brilliant album. They're actually touring in February in Australia, so highly recommend to get tickets.
Yeah. And track 3, Alex, is what's your favourite cover version, mate?
Yeah, I'm going to go, there's a lot of good covers. Was tempted to go with the cover of Hurt by old mate Johnny Cash, but a lot of people don't know that Ryan Adams covered Wonderwall. And I heard that cover and I'm like, man, this is so good. This reimagines that song that everyone loves and holds with such reverence that I'm forced to play at every cover gigs that I play. Yeah. And I think even one of the Gallagher brothers, the guitarist, is that Noel Gallagher?
Noel. Yeah, Noel, yeah.
Yeah, Noel. I've seen a video where he said that's how he wished the song was originally.
That was exactly what my follow-up was going to be on that. Yeah, and that's been picked a few times, that track. Track 4, Alex, is what is a song you'd like your 18-year-old self to hear?
This was a really tough one because I was almost listening to all the music I still loved when I was 18 and maybe even before then, which is maybe a slight indictment on music that came after the year 2008 or so. So Leprous at the bottom, we've toured with Leprous before as well. At the bottom is one of the stonkiest and heaviest. I don't know. It matches the title of the song, and I'd highly recommend you listen to it. It was really bassy earplugs, some headphones. Yeah.
All right. Track 5 is what is a song you would put on to let the listener know you're romantically interested?
Track 5 is Lover, You Should Have Come Over.
Cav from Eskimo Joe picked that a few weeks ago when I chatted to him. Yeah, fantastic choice. That's been picked so many times for that track. The problem is, Alex, when I arrange these interviews, what I need to start doing is including a disclaimer where if someone picks a Jeff Buckley track, we automatically have to add 5 minutes onto the interview for me to froth about Jeff Buckley and how much I love him. But yeah,
okay. I thought you were going to say the opposite for a second.
No, God no. I'm the biggest Jeff Buckley fan. Recently, do you know Jonas Policewoman? Are you familiar with her and her work? She's a singer-songwriter from New York. She was Jeff's partner right up until he died.
Oh, yeah.
And I had her on the show. She played the Heath Ledger Theatre a couple of weeks ago, and I had her on the show and got to chat to her. So that was a great one. Like it was. Wow. I was really. Do I go there? Do you know what I mean? In the interview, because I really wanted to, but you obviously have to be sensitive.
I'm like a big Massive Attack fan. I've just been listening to a lot of Blue Lines and like watching some videos and stuff. And am I incorrect? Was she the performer that sang on Teardrop? Is that the same?
Elizabeth Fraser. Yeah, from Cocteau Twins. Yeah, they were a couple, but not at the time.
Yeah, I think there was also this person in the documentary that she was saying that listening to the lyrics for Grace, but it goes so slow. And just like the lyrics really just syncopated with Jeff's kind of untimely end, sadly.
Track 6, what is a track you feel is underappreciated?
Voyager, The Lamenting off Fearless in Love. Check it out. It's dark, it's powerful, it's moody. It has got the second verse, the bass line in it. I tried to be Guy Pratt.
It's been an absolute pleasure, Alex. Cheers, mate. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Thanks, mate. Take care.
The new single, Seen Better Days, is out now on all streaming platforms, and you can download the MP3 from Voyager's Bandcamp. And if you want any more information about the shows coming up in Perth, it's Voyager AU on all the socials. Thank you so much for listening to the Mixtape podcast. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to go to the top of the page and rate it 5 stars, or give us a like or follow on social media at the Mixtape podcast and radio show. Don't forget, there's over 100 archive episodes just waiting to be discovered. And all you need to do is visit themixtapepodcast.com. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time.